I just, just listening to you, just completely opens up. I don't know what it opens up, but I feel this expansion, and I feel the emptiness.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I feel I don't have any ground.
Yes, perfect.
And yet at the same time, the experience is I'm sitting here and listening to you.
Absolutely perfect, what you said. Except for the last bit, when you said, I'm sitting here. Mm-hmm. You're not sitting here. You're present here. But that here is not located.
Yes. Okay.
The chair, your body, these words, everything is appearing in you.
Yes.
You don't appear in them. You are not sitting here.
Yes.
So you see, in your formulation, the experience you describe is absolutely perfect. Mm-hmm. This expansion that you... Mm-hmm. And then the mind comes in and interprets that experience with the old formulas.
It needs to give it ground.
It needs to give it, and it says I.
Yes.
So when you say I am sitting here, you're referring to the body.
Yes.
But we've already, 2 minutes ago, we came to the conclusion through our actual experience that I, consciousness, is not a body.
Yes.
It's limitless.
Yes.
Why then do we say I am sitting here? That's going back to the old formulation that I is the body. I, consciousness, is not a body. Mm-hmm. The body, which means bodily sensations, and if our eyes are open, visual perceptions, appears in this consciousness.
Yes.
But and those appearances have limitations. But that in which the body appears, to which we refer as I, has no limitations. And that's not an extraordinary experience. We've just come very simply to that experience. And you expressed it very nice when you said you feel empty, and I could see that you were happy. That's, of course, consciousness is happy when it recognizes itself, when it says, oh yes, of course, I'm this free, open, limited, empty being.
Yes.
And another word for that self-recognition is happiness. That's what happiness is. That's what the experience of happiness is. It has other names as well. Mm-hmm. Peace, love, beauty.
So how can we hold? I mean, I guess you would say there's somebody who tries to hold it. How can I hold myself in this experience without, in the moment I try to communicate something, of course, already the language is pulling me back into duality.
Yes.
Isn't
yes,
it?
You answered your own question very nicely. Who is this one that you're referring to that wants to hold on? We've already ascertained that one, I, is not an entity. We've already come, just through simple observation of our experience, to the understanding and the feeling understanding that what we are is not, in this moment, what we are is not an entity.
Yes.
But then the mind comes back in.
Yes.
How can I hold on to this?
Yes.
You are, in this moment, you are consciousness. You are yourself. Mm-hmm. That which is hearing these words.
Yes.
That is what you are. You don't need to... Can you imagine not being that? It's impossible.
No,
You've always been that. So there's no question of having to hold on to it. How could you lose it? Mm-hmm. Where would consciousness go? Where is there... Have you ever experienced something that's outside of consciousness?
No, but I can forget it by believing my mind.
You can forget it, but it can't forget you.
No, that's right.
So when you say, I can forget it, you shrink yourself again into a personal entity that is autonomous, that sometimes remembers the real self, and sometimes forgets it.
Yes.
But we know already that one is non-existent. So that one is truly consciousness. And it is true that consciousness forgets itself. You could put it like that. These are metaphors. They're not absolutely true. Consciousness sometimes pretends not to be itself.
Can I
and
just
hence the search begins.
Read this one sentence from your book, which I marked, which I thought is just so beautiful. It says, consciousness veils itself from itself.
Veils itself.
Yeah, veils itself from itself by pretending to limit itself to a separate entity, and then forgets that it is pretending. I mean, it just breaks my heart reading that.
Yes, it's consciousness forgets itself.
Yeah.
It's instead of simply being open and present to the totality of its experience from moment to moment.
Yes.
And that includes thoughts, images, feelings, sensations, perceptions. Instead of allowing all that to take place within itself, and ultimately, if we look into the nature of that objective experience, we find that it is made out of the very its substance is the consciousness in which it appears. But it chooses, instead of saying, yes, I am the totality of my experience, it says, it contracts onto a fragment called a body, and the body is just a collection of sensations.
Yeah.
And instead of saying and feeling, I am the totality of my experience, it shrinks into a body and says, I am this little fragment. And by definition, everything, it draws a line in the sand.
Yeah.
And it says, I'm everything on the inside of this line, which is a body and a mind, and everything that is on the outside of that line is not me.
Yes.
And we call that the world.
Yes.
The world is just simply what I am not. That is what we consider the world to be. But this line that distinguishes between what is me, what consciousness believes to be itself, and everything that is outside of that line is a completely arbitrary line. Why do we feel that I am this cluster of sensations, but not that humming in the background? They're both experienced in exactly the same place, inside presence, inside consciousness. They're both experienced, the so-called sound in the distance is experienced in exactly the same place as the sensation which is caused by my legs on the chair. And if we asked where are they both experienced, they're both experienced here. And I don't mean here a location, I mean here in presence.
Yes.
And they're both experienced at a zero distance
Yes.
from presence. They're both one
Yes.
with presence.